This is the syncing song, so I can sync things up. Hey everyone, Artfinity here, and I am back with another video. And this is a video that shows you how I make my videos. So yeah, I'll just go ahead and get into that. Which is kind of funny because this video itself is going to be a bit of an editing mess because we got a traveling camera. Woo! So yeah, before I get started, I'm just going to show you guys a little bit of my workspace. This is pretty much what we got going on. Here's the traditional drawing desk. Here's the digital drawing desk. There's my chair. There's the ice machine for my knee. And there's a piano that I pretend to know how to play. So, yep. We can just get into this and I'll show you guys a little bit of my workspace and what everything does. So here is the drawing mat that I draw on, because you'll actually see that this is a picnic table for being outside, but I think it's really good just because it's big enough to hold all of this stuff. And then that's actually like a 3-tier drawer. So yeah, the drawers are actually here, and in these said drawers I keep my manga books for reference, all of my art supplies. They literally all fit in one drawer and it's super convenient. And then this third one is pretty much just there for height, and then of course notes. Here I have an Ottlite, which is actually taped inside of a box that has VHS tapes in it just for height. And you'll notice at the top of this, I actually have a flat piece of cardboard taped down, so I can actually put this not so flat piece of cardboard there, and then I carved a little hole into it. And this is where my camera goes. And you're actually going to notice that this is upside down, but I actually go ahead and fix that in post. So cool story, I actually film upside down and it's a decent height, you can see everything. And then if I actually pull up a drawing, so here you'll see that, yeah, here's drawings, and I can actually film, and the best thing about this is that my head won't get in the way so much. I say so much because sometimes I still hit this, and if you ever seen a video where it does like that, it's because I hit my head on it. But yeah, this helps a lot because it's actually elevated. There's no tripod legs around the table, and all that I actually need to do is just remember to flip the video and post. So I would say that's a pretty fair trade. Woo! And the best part about this kind of setup is that this tab just pulls right out. So I can, when I'm done editing or recording, I can just pull this back out, and then it's just a normal cabinet again. If any of you are wondering why I have a ceramic turtle there, that's just to hold down the cardboard so it doesn't shake. It's a little bit for stability. And here are more art supplies. There's actually a kneaded eraser in this. And here is just books and a lot of the stuff that I use on my mission that I read very often. Here is a Foxy plushie, just because I beat 1020 mode. And when I saw this on my mission, I was just like, I need it! It's a trophy, it's a prize from me to me. So, yeah, Five Nights at Freddy's, cool game. And just here is actually my recording microphone. So this is the microphone that makes everything sound like amazing, as opposed to the normal audio for the camera that I'm using right now. And the two really do sound a lot different. Oh, and I didn't explain this. This is like a whole little mechanism that I actually have set up because, as you'll notice, there are indents in these tabs. And my camera can only record for 20 minutes. And sometimes it'll record, and I forget to hit record again when it stops, and then I miss a large chunk of the video editing, and it sucks! But, yeah, I actually have this iPad here with a timer on it, so I just have this timer going, and I can always see exactly how much time I have. So the video angle is here, and I'm looking here, so I see exactly how much time I have between drawing, time, and then distractions over here. But yeah, that's actually as far as the traditional thing goes. And now when I'm actually done with the drawing, then it goes into the magical editing process, which I can actually show you here. So I actually go ahead and transfer all the files from my camera to my computer, and then it looks a lot like this, just large chunks of 20-minute videos like this. And you'll notice it is upside down, and it's just a lot of a lot of footage. And I'll actually go ahead and I'll drag all of that into Premiere, Adobe Premiere Pro, which is actually what I use. But you'll notice that when I do this, it's a very long video. So when I drag all of this into Premiere, you'll see that it's just all the footage, all of it upside down, and the total here is like 2 hours and 28 minutes. And I don't think you guys want to sit through that. So what I do with this footage in order to speed it up is I'll just select all of it, then I'll right click and I'll hit nest. And that pretty much turns all of those videos into one video. And I'm going to talk a little bit about nesting a little later because you better believe that that thing's useful. I use it very often. I'll unlink this just so I actually separate the audio and the video because I don't need the audio. It's pretty much just background noise and me drinking water and my brother making jokes that I tend to laugh at very much. He's a funny child. And you'll notice that this footage is still 2 hours long. So what I'll do is I'll right click and then I'll go over here to this magic button called speed and duration, which is pretty much the make a speed paint button. And then I get to decide exactly how long I want that footage to be. And because my videos are usually 5 minutes long, it'll just be 5 minutes. And this includes milliseconds, so don't make it 5 seconds, make it 5 minutes. I've made that mistake before. And then that'll automatically take all the footage and make it super sped up, and then it's awesome, and then it's like speed paint quality, and then it's actually a representation of how fast I wish I could draw in real life. But it's still upside down. So I'm going to go over here to Effect Controls, making sure that this is selected, and then I'll go to Rotation, and then I'll just hit 180. And there you go. Instafix. So the video is right side up, my head was out of the way, and now it's a speed paint. But, of course, with every speed paint, you either need the music, or you need the audio, or commentary. Music and audio, whatever. So you actually need the commentary or the music for them. And what I actually use to record is Audacity. So I'll go ahead and pull up this bad boy. And then I make test recordings, which is good because I'm going to show you how to get rid of all this annoying sound from my fan. So I'm just going to give this a second and hopefully you can hear it and it'll just be like a test. La 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 la, making a speed paint. And then what you'll actually be able to hear from this is that it's very noisy audio. So I'm going to go ahead and export that. So this is going to go to my desktop and it's going to be noisy audio. And what I actually do to get rid of this, and I left a couple of seconds at the end of it silent on purpose. And that's because in order to get rid of background noise, I go to Effect, then I go to Noise Removal, then Get Noise Profile, which actually makes it so the background noise, mostly from my fan, was registered. I'll deselect that and then go into this again and remove all of the noise from it. So there's noise removal, and then it's just like, okay. And then it gets rid of the noise, and then I'll be able to export that, and it'll sound like nice audio. So this will be called nice audio. And then when I'm actually done with that and I got rid of some of the background noise for it, I go back into Premiere. I'll get the commentary together, and sometimes it will take a couple of takes or a lot of takes or a lot of takes. So then I'll bring the commentary into here, and then you'll be able to hear a lot of this nonsense. And that's pretty much Premiere giving a preview of the audio as well as the video. But that's actually super useful for editing because I tend to edit a lot using audio cues or sound effects. So, say for example, I'm doing an animation and I want to know exactly how much to move a person's mouth. That's very useful. It might sound like a lot of gibberish to you guys, especially because it's me. But it's very good for the audio, and you can always kind of see the master control on the side to make sure it's not too loud or too quiet. But yeah, that actually pieces it together, and then you have your speed paint. But wait, where's the crazy editing? All that stuff that Skittles usually does like this. That's what makes it a speed paint of mine. It's dumb edits like that that take like 2 hours to make, and then it only lasts a couple of seconds. But you learn to be okay with it because it makes me smile, and hopefully it makes you guys smile. So I'm actually going to teach you guys a little bit about nesting. And it's going to be your friend. I'm going to start off with a simple example first, and that's going to be right in the intro.
Hey guys, Match Tap Skills here, and
that bell ding, is very useful because it's useful. So I actually went ahead and made this a resource in Photoshop. So I actually went and I drew this out really fast just for the sake of the video. And you'll notice that this has like a little animation on it, like ding, and then I just timed the audio to it, which is why that gibberish was important. So yeah, there's the bell ding, but you'll notice that it's the full screen. And you don't need it to be the full screen. You need it to be on the end of the screen that's a lot smaller over here. And what I actually did was I animated this bell in full screen first to make sure it works. And then I right-clicked on this, and then I nested the layer, which means that the animation is saved. It's its own video now. And it's a PNG image, so it's actually transparent in the back. But from here, I can actually resize it, and it'll still play the animation on its own because it's its own video. So that means that I can put this anywhere, and it'll work. So I'll go ahead and put this over on the corner, and then over here in the animation, it's in the corner, and it's behaving, and it's happy. But in this case, it's actually gone. So yeah, that'll be there, and then I just have some text above it because good thing about Premiere is it actually uses layers. And now we're going to go to this beast of an edit, and I'll try to break it down simply. But that uses nesting on a bit more complicated a level, but I'm going to show you how I do it. So I'm just going to double click to bring all this up. So I have this separated into different layers. It has the text, Scottish mode initiated. It has the things with Midori, all of her edits, and it has a little, what are those things called? Three-leaf clovers in the background, and of course, Fox himself. So I actually separated all of these things, and then there's also the background, and I'm going to show you a little bit about how I made this animation. I'll just show you guys, and hopefully that'll make sense. So I have the normal image here, and you're going to see these things over here for position, scale, rotation, and all of that good stuff. So in short, we're going to make a little animation. We're going to make Fox do something crazy. And basically, I want to have these things checked for the animation. I want to have these things checked so that way when I actually move this drawing, it's going to be okay. And let's see, it says I have a couple of keyframes here. In order to make this thing full screen like I just did, you actually just hit the tilde key. And yeah, so here's Fox. He's standing there, but you'll notice that there's a distinct lack of crazy. He's just there. So we're going to make this a little funner to actually look at. So here's Fox, and with these things checked, I'm actually going to double click over here, and we're going to make a move. We're going to use the arrow keys to make different frames here. So along with the arrow keys, I'm just going to drag a little bit with each one and then hit an arrow key forward, and you'll see that that's actually making keyframes over here, which means that when I play it back, he's going to be moving. And I'm not going to make it so you guys have to sit through and watch me make 1,000 keyframes, so I'll just make one good set, and then I'll just copy and paste those until there's enough panic. I actually do this with text too, so yeah, that's always fun. So there we go. It's reached the end of the animation, which means that this still picture of Fox is just moving constantly now. But if we actually go back over here, you'll notice that this is actually getting bigger as it goes. And that's something super useful here because now that we have Fox moving, we can right-click this, and then we're going to nest it, which makes that a video of its own. And that means that, like the bell, we can move this around, which means we can make an animation inside of an animation. So say you're animating a person with a head turn or something. They're just turning their head and it's super pain in the butt because you need to get all the mouth movements right. You can make them first and then position them correctly. So in this case, we're going to make a keyframe for the scale, just normal. And then at the end of the animation, we're going to make another keyframe, but make this one bigger. So now what this is going to do is Fox is still going to be shaking around like a crazy psycho, but there's also a secondary animation, which is him moving. So just make sure you have him right at the start, and then as this goes on, he's going to be moving, and there you go. He's looking more like he does over here. Only here I just added a gradual animation for him turning green. And then I have the cuts of Midori, which are very useful for the gibberish that you hear here. So you'll notice that every time that there's like the little sound effect for the clap in that rap song. So every time that goes on, I can actually hear it, and especially over here. So it'll actually be timed. So every time it makes the little noise, Midori shows up, which means that hearing this gibberish is actually very useful. So that way I can time it correctly. And I also made little markers here. You'll notice these little triangles. And that's pretty much audio cues for me, because I'll listen through it very closely, but sometimes I forget where they're at. And in order to make those, you just hit M. So I can go over here and hit M and 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 M. And you'll see it makes markers. And I can always go back to these. So first I went and listened to the audio cue, and then I know where to put in Midori for the music conveniently. So, very useful. And then I just changed these side by side for all of them, and that was fun. And then when I'm done with all of this, I'm going to nest it all again. So I'm just going to click and drag, and then I'm going to right click, and then I'm going to hit nest, and then it's all one convenient little video. And then if I want to edit this too, I actually can. And the best part about nesting is you can always just click back on it and change it up if you don't like how it's going or how it looks, and you can always add that in. And of course I have a little text notification because I was sorry. And with the audio, I already showed you guys how I fixed it, but sometimes there's a little noise left. So I'll just click and drag this little denoiser, which is an audio sound effect here, and that should take the rest of the background noise out. But sometimes my recording is too quiet, and when that happens, you just go over here to the levels of the audio, and then you'll drag that up or down, and then you can always tell if it's too loud or too quiet with this little bar on the side. You'll see that it's around -12, so yeah, you always know that that's okay. And I also do this for the background music. I usually drag that down to around -12 or -20 if the song's really loud, and that's just to make sure that the background music isn't louder than me, which happens. And then of course I have occasional edits like this. Just a picture, I rescale it, then I add a little bit of a radial shadow. I'll go ahead and click on that. So yeah, I'll just add in a little radial shadow, and then there you go. I add in words, so sometimes I have things to say. And I have a little popping sound. I'll get rid of the audio on these two tracks so you can hear it. So sometimes I just have little sound effects like this, which I recorded afterwards. And then little animation, kind of the same thing as the nesting deal. I went ahead and I drew this in Photoshop, so yeah, you can rotate him, you can move him around, and when I was done with the rotation, that's when I moved him around. And of course, I timed it to the words that I was saying, which you can't hear because I muted. And of course, I actually timed him to the words that I was saying, which is very useful because he's actually timed according to what I say.
I spent 40 years making a dress.
Because, and then the build-up.
Why not?
And that's why the audio cues are very important. You can actually listen and know what you're doing. And then, of course, I just have little things like this, opacity for the win. Sometimes I just record little bits after the speed paint that go along with the commentary. I usually know that I'm going to do some of the editing while I'm making commentary, so I usually go ahead and make this just after for extra lulz. And then I guess the only thing that's left is when my video's wrapping up, I'll make the background music quieter as I start into this background music.
Thank you everyone for watching. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you later. Bye!
And then that's just a quick song that I actually made in Premiere. So even this has a little bit of editing going on. I actually have footage of the speed paint. I just added a camera blur effect, and That's just so it's not a distraction. And then of course I have the drawing. It has a radial shadow on it too to give it a nice edge. So you can just see that there. And then I have the thing where the drawing is available. And then of course the text. So when all of that's done and I want to have this video fade out and the music fade out as well, that's another nested sequence. Nests are so useful, but it's not like birds, it's not like crow, it's like editing, and it's nice. So, yep, in general, that's what I do. Hopefully that made sense. And if you guys have any questions about the things I do, I might make more of these videos, just how-tos, how I generally make how-to videos. So, yeah, let me know what you guys think. Especially about the video. Did it help at all? You can let me know. And yeah, thank you for watching this video and sticking around till the end. Hopefully it helped a little. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye! In order to record my screen, I use OBS because it's nice.